Hi, good morning, everybody. First of all, thank you all for being here for a March ASC technical session hosted by ASC TNBI. My name is Nisha Sate, and I will be your moderator for today's session. We are excited to bring you an insightful presentation on DFW Airport International Parkway Design Build project and the simple initiative supporting one of the world's busiest airports. As you know, DFW Airport is the third largest airport in the world by land area and ranks third globally in passenger traffic and operations. International Parkway is its primary landside corridor, ensuring safe and efficient access to all terminals. Delivering this transformation while maintaining uninterrupted airport operations required early planning beginning in procurement and continuing with design and construction. Success has been driven by close integration among the project team, owner, PMCM team, and the design builder. This presentation highlights how design build best practices, early stakeholder engagement, technology-enabled collaboration, and proactive risk management are enabling coordinating efficient delivery of this critical infrastructure upgrade. We are privileged to have three distinguished speakers joining us, each bringing extensive expertise and leadership to this transformative project. First, we have Harish Rao, PE DFW Airport Assets Manager and DFW Owners Representative. He is a structural assets manager and he oversees the structural assets of world's busiest airport, including buildings, bridges, walls, culverts, high mast light posts, etc. He is instrumental in the creation of capital projects for rehabilitation or replacement, QC reviews, inspection, and on-call for emergency incidents. He relocated from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where he received his BS in civil engineering and MBA from Penn State University. His vast professional experience includes engineering positions within the Pennsylvania DOT and Michael Baker International. Secondly, we have Veronica Martinez, PE, DFW Airport Senior Project Manager, STB Engineers. She is experienced senior project manager with 25 plus years of infrastructure design, project and program management and strategic planning for major organizations, including the Panama Canal Authority, DFW International Airport, and Texas DOT. She is recognized for consistently delivering complex, high-profile projects on schedule and under budget while building strong collaborative teams and maintaining trusted stakeholder relationships. Veronica holds an MBA and Bachelor's of Science in Civil Engineering. She currently serves as Senior Project Manager and Owner's Representative for the International Parkway Design Build project at DFW. Last but not the least, we have Giovanni Zavala, Senior Project Manager and Designer at the Walsh Group. Gio has over 18 years of experience, all with Western, building large-scale alternative delivery infrastructure projects that involve pre-construction activities such as constructability reviews, scheduling, cost analysis, and project startup. Throughout his career, Gio has managed projects with values ranging from 67 million to $1.6 billion and brings extensive experience working with DFW International Airport, TxDOT, and DOT. At DFW Airport, he is currently delivering the $365 million DFW International Parkway Bridges and HML Design Build project, a 9.5 million rehab and improvement of SE employment lot project, and 67 million Terminal F concourse and Skylink Station paving project. In the DFW area, Geo has successfully completed the following projects like West 21st Street Repress Project, Jet Fuel Piping Leak, and Dark Silver Line Project, and IH-35 Express Project and Terminal. So I would like to invite our speakers for their presentation on this topic.
Okay, good. Good morning, everyone. As Nisha said, my name's Harish. I represent the airport. I'm an airport staff engineer. And first of all, I want to congratulate every one of you for setting your clocks right, because you're here on time. So we'll expect stragglers coming in about an hour. So this project, but I want to begin is I want to talk to you about the airport itself. It's right in your backyard and it's massive and it's a super hub. It's a super airport. It's like top 5 on the planet in various aspects of passenger traffic, aircraft traffic, volume of cargo, and etc. So we've been in business for 50 years, opened in 1974, and we're going strong. So 50 years of growth from January 13th to now. There's a lot of things that really exploded. More runways, more gates, more terminals, more money, more bigger budgets, etc. And here's some stats here. I'm not going to read them all to you, but here's some top 5 stats on the planet. We're being compared to airports like in Shanghai, Dubai, London, and so forth. So it's right in your backyard. So as you know, we're here as part of a monumental task, which is ongoing now. Billions of dollars going to be spent, over about 12 billion, it says there, on new capital projects. And there's more coming. Okay. So this is just what we see now, but there's more coming over time in different phases and different fiscal years. This project, International Parkway, the birth, got started with me. So in 2018, I get an email from TxDOT, Fort Worth District, telling me that these 4 bridges, the ones in red, have fracture critical issues. So they told me to either get them fixed or replace them. So the airport decided to do both. We fixed them with fracture critical repairs to buy us time. And then it was decided, instead of putting these left-hand bridges back in where it's confusing and dangerous for getting people off the road, put them to the right. And that's what this project's all about. So it's this bridge right here. And if you ever travel to the terminals, you had to cross it. It's a 755-foot bridge on the left side of the road, and it was built in 74 for fracture critical steel tub. And the problem is it ices fast in the wintertime, and that controls your passenger traffic in the wintertime. And then, of course, our FIFA World Cup is coming up. So we have a, so I asked for help. And the birth of the project is the International Parkway Modernization Design Build. And then my colleague, Veronica, will explain more details about it.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm the project manager for this baby that Harish gave us. In this case, I'm going to explain briefly about numbers of the project and some of the, from inception to how we executed the project. So I'm going to give you a little background. This project initially was a bid build project. What the owners saw along the design process when they got to most of the 70% of the design, that a lot of issues were not yet addressed. So we changed, or they decided to change to design build. In this case, we have a qualification-based procurement, 2-step RFQ, RFP, and the importance of this is that the owner could perfectly cater what they wanted from this contractor. In this case, they highlighted the experience, past performance. We have requirements for firm and key personal experience. Most likely, besides what we saw in our resume, we also call prior clients, verify how they collaborate, direct with third parties. We also verify technical competence, construction phasing plan methodology, and we're going to see a lot of these in the later slides. We saw safety, sustainability, quality control, Side note, sustainability. This is the first infrastructure project from the airport that had a contractor requirement for Envision framework. Uh, Highlight of this is we already submitted documentation for this. And the requirement was for obtaining silver award level. The project obtained a golden award level. Stakeholder collaboration and communication, as I mentioned earlier, as part of the team performance, BIM modeling capabilities. This is big into the airport for how they are developing their digital twin. Alternative technical concepts, ATCs, to be able to negotiate something that could be performed prior to finalizing a lump sum price. And then, of course, risk management. We know we're going to have challenges, again, linked to the issues that were not addressed through the 70% design that we use as a bridging document. Didn't mention, but of course, Jacobs and Archer Western were the ones that were chosen as the contractor design build. Now, one of the main items that we want to highlight here was the alternative technical concepts were ideas that were manufactured to be able to be negotiated before we finalize the contract price. So for us, this being taken into consideration before was a big advantage. So we have here an example. What we see here in red was the original design. We see a lot of intervention, closures required to build these sections. So what the contractor proposed was to realign the entrance to the right exit to Terminal V. In this case, also modify how the exits and entrances to the different terminals work, allow us to avoid all these interactions and impacts into the terminals. So again, these were qualifiers that were considered when we were choosing our design builder. So the project by the numbers. The project was awarded, final contractual negotiated, 206 millions. Now we have contract plus change orders of about 365 millions, and I will clarify, all of them were directed by the owner to address critical issues. The project length is about 3 miles. It does not sound like a lot, but this is a very restricted footprint, so we are going to see along the presentation how we address that. Construction, NWB goal, 30%, designs, 22%. The proposal was due date January 20th, and we notified the design builder on February 10, 2023. So you will see a gap of about 7 months between the notification to when we provided NTP, and I would say that this was a very intense negotiation, most likely to look for the address of those NTCs and also for the contractor to work with us to adjust to the budget that the airport had at that time. So we have substantial completion for base scope of October 14th of this year, and this is without considering major change orders that are modifying that date. What we want to highlight here is the early completion incentive. This is an incentive of 3 million that the airport provided for the contractor to eagerly finish before the summer of 2026, and then get out of the way of having construction activities during the FIFA World Cup. This is the project schedule, and most likely aligned with what I'm telling you. We already have terminals B and A open. We're working on C. Again, substantial completion for base scope is October 14, but we are shooting to have this ECI date of June 5th addressed. Now, project execution, we're going to talk a little about design and the digital tools that we're using. The main focus of what we have for the design development was to build with fast track, of course, the advantage of design build, but also to do most of the work offline, doing the least impact to the operations on the existing traffic. So what we have is that we schedule the design deliverables aligned with fast track construction timeline. Of course, there were early start of construction submittals that allow the contractor to work as fast and as soon as possible, but also there were different adjustments like alignment adjustments to keep work of existing traffic roads. Like you see in this picture, most of the alignment is off. And then we try to minimize as much as possible the impact. In this case, also, we have minimizing impact to existing infrastructure left in place, reduce the risk for utility relocations through design optimization, early coordination, and then the dynamic adjustment of maintenance of traffic. These are going to be a couple of examples of how we apply design optimization. In this case, this actually was the alignment that I showed in the ATC, but then this was a further step where part of the infrastructure had to be built on top of the existing text rail station. So what you see here in yellow are existing soil nails that has to be kept in place. So what we have to build here is the vent, an abutment, and most likely surgically identify where these soils were located, a lot of potholing involved. Besides that, to try to intervene the least and not produce additional loading into that existing wall, there was the use of this lightweight fill material made of glass. And you can see here how the advance of this work took place. Another major, I would say, design optimization that we saw through the project was the management of utility conflicts. Initially, we have about 114 identified potential utility conflicts. Through design that was mitigated to only 9 requiring relocation. So this was a big win for the team due to impacting one of these utilities is critical for the operation of the airport. This is an example of jet fuel drain lines that cross between terminal A and B. In this case, instead of relocating or touching or doing anything with those drain lines, we know nobody wants to get laid because there's not jet fuel in the airplanes. A protection slab was the solution. Now, I will make a rhetorical question. Who in here arrived the 2 hours that the airlines recommend to get before your flight? Oh, very good amount of people. That's good. So I'm asking this because I want you to think on all the steps that we take to make a closure. Before we put that closure in place, we first align with the owner's moratorium schedule. And for those of you that are not related with the airport operations, the moratorium is specific time where the major flight volume is taking place. It's seasonal, but also has to be with specific events happening in DFW. We also make heavy use of traffic models. In this case, this is an example of a busy model. We see how the model predicts the behavior. And then we, after that, making adjustment over every step. After that, we also do test ride runs. So we test the closures as the condition is going to be during construction. Adjustments are made again. Of course, we can validate those assumptions. We adjust the closures based on field life observations and then refine these MOTs. And I would say there's an additional step that we add after. When we are executing the closure, If there is something is not working, I can tell you the contractor have made adjustment on the spot. And even detours have been built in days to resume and improve the traffic impacts that are made during the project. So next time you are in a backup, please consider take your 2 hours and that this is not done without thought. Now we want to share a little of the technical or let's say collaboration tools that we use. Of course, most of you are familiar with the use of Bluebeam, Revit. We have project visualization tools like what we're showing right now, where we use 3D PDF models. These renders are very useful to communicate information with people that are not technical. They can show how their new route is going to function and also help facilitate why we need to do some closures. There are people who think, why you need to do that? Well, we cannot build this bridge without taking it down. So they're tools that help familiarize not technical people into how we are going to be developing construction. Now, the airport has a program to become one of the first airports with a digital twin. This is the first infrastructure project that is integrating a 3D model into that digital twin. We have contractually requirements for DFI standards, digital facilities infrastructure standards. And then the final deliverable for this project is going to be a model that is going to be compatible with that digital twin model. With that, we have here our sample contractor view.
How's it going, everybody? Did anybody happen to record that introduction? Nobody's called me distinguished before, so I want to show my kids that and take it back to the office. So I've never been referred to as a distinguished guest, so I appreciate that. Thank you, ASD, for having me here today. I'm happy to talk about the construction that's happening at DFW, and hopefully it's not causing too much of an inconvenience for you guys. So starting off with the north U-turn alignment, what you see here is a screen grab of what the final alignment ended up being. This is the northern part of the project, and this is what allows people going northbound to access Terminal B. So it does add a little bit more time to the normal commute from the left-hand exit, but it does improve the flow of traffic. Now, this wasn't always the alignment. The original alignment that was handed to us at the 70% level, which was developed by WSP, was what you see in red. So early on, when we got on board on the project, working with the PMCM team, we identified this as a potential area to mitigate some of the risks that we saw the project have, which start off by this area right here. This is the orange line that was built some time ago. The original design had an exit ramp here that required us to build a cut wall using drill shafts. Those drill shafts were obviously, you can imagine the spacing of the drill shafts, but not only were we having to install drill shafts here, but there's also a soil known MSC wall here that retains the orange line. So there was a lot of complex issues there with the constructability aspect of that, but there was also some right-of-way conflicts, some easement issues with DART. So that being one of the scary parts, that wasn't the scariest part. The scariest part is this. You got a transformer substation over there for the Skylink system. So the entire Skylink system's power grid runs right through there. So there was a lot of unknowns in terms of what that impact would be with the roadway running right adjacent to it. So when we sat down with the PMCM team, we came up with this optimized alignment, which it did add about 2 minutes to the travel time, but the airport saw the value and benefit of switching to the design here, which is what you see in blue. Later on, we'll have some pictures. I think we also have a video of what that ended up turning out to. It's currently open. It was open last fall. So here's just some construction pictures. Nothing too exciting there. Ended up just being a pavement on grade that we ended up installing. We did eliminate, all the cut walls got eliminated. A lot of utility conflicts got eliminated with this solution here. And here's a video of what that alignment looks like. This is going northbound. This is east-west. And this is what the southbound direction looks like. This footprint here shows you the layouts for terminals A and B. So Veronica talked a little bit about the ATC here, and I think there's some pictures here on a upcoming slide that you guys would find pretty helpful. But you can imagine trying to install those drill shafts where all the soil nails were, and not hit a single one of them. Now, when the jobs first started, it was our goal not to hit anything, and luckily we didn't. But we definitely spent a lot of money potholing to make sure that we did not do that. It was a Swiss cheese area, but I do want to thank Jacobs. Lauren's here. Lauren Van Andel was one of our design managers. It pretty much came to the point where, like, where can we fit a drill shaft? It's going to go here. Designers, I don't care what you tell me, just make the numbers work, and we're going to go ahead and build it. And Jacobs was very flexible. They understood the situation that we were in. I think that design changed like 3 or 4 times before we finally got to where we landed. But what you see there is a solution that worked, and it was only possible via the design build delivery method. The importance of that, if I'm being honest with you, was not only the change of alignment. The biggest issue that was given to us by the WSP team at the time was that the southbound on-ramp from Terminal B was essentially eliminated. So this ramp right here would be no more. So you were shifting all that traffic leaving Terminal B that was wanted to go southbound, had to go out a different way. So when we came up with the solution, it was obviously a win-win, right? There was cost savings for the owners because it mitigated a lot of utility risk that was there. And it also provided a permanent design solution for the traffic flow to get everybody out. There was obviously some other inherent benefits, but to this, the biggest one, there was like a big gas line that was able to get eliminated there in terms of a relocation standpoint. But the solution was something that was looked upon favorably during the pursuit portion of the project. So here's some pictures here. So this is us installing that FGA material, which is provided by Arrow out of Florida. Gets delivered in big bags, about 3 yards per bag. The installation itself goes very similar to an MSC wall, but we've used this material elsewhere on the project where we've had some surcharge concerns. And Jacobs again has been a great partner to work with to help us find solutions whenever we create some mistakes that require us to shift and use some of these unique materials that typically aren't common for the area. Terminal B construction. So you see some photos there, and I think we have a little bit of a video here that we can show you there. But Terminal B was the first terminal that we opened. It was fall of last year, 2025. We were able to open that ahead of schedule. Each one of these terminals had a second phase component. So the first phase is build everything you can that is outside the footprint of traffic conflicts. And then the second phase is what we call the terminal tie-ins. We have some videos here that show how quickly some of the construction happened. Coming right up. This right here is a video that we created with Lindemood and Sigma Engineering out of Las Vegas. So these videos have been very helpful for us to effectively communicate our plan to the owner rep, PMCM team, which is Veronica and her team. And then her team takes this and presents this to all the stakeholders at DFW Airport. You can imagine that not everybody at an airport's got a technical background or knows construction. These videos are very helpful for them to be able to effectively communicate what our plan is. This closure is something that was permitted to be done over a course of, I think, 72 hours or so. And then Lindemood did a really good job beating that schedule. But this is what it looks like in real life. So the pretty animation isn't always the way things turn out, you guys can imagine, but it gets pretty close. The rest of what you see here is the actual construction of how quickly our Archer-Western crews were able to rebuild the entire intersection. So we had 90 days is what was negotiated with the owner to do all this. Now, it wasn't some kind of milestone. It was just like our word that that's what we're going to do. In this particular location, we definitely beat the 90-day duration. And the owner was very happy with the results. Let this play out here and you get to see how quickly this all comes together for us. We obviously were working day and night. You get to a point where we can't really double shift some of the activities, but wherever we could, we did. And, the biggest thing too, I guess I should take a moment to pat ourselves on the back. We put in about 650,000 man hours on this project and we've had 0 incidents, 0 recordables. So it's been a 0, 0, 0 project. We're very proud of that. You know, typically a safe job is a quality job and it's a profitable job and checks all 3 boxes for us right now. So that video right here shows you kind of what the finished product looks like. Again, this was all built within less than 90 days. We did just finish the lower roadway construction. That was opened up to the public Friday, the 6th, but all the lower roadway construction is now open in its current alignment, a new alignment. So once we finished Terminal B, we moved on to Terminal A. Terminal A, similar, we had an animation that we provided the owner rep team, and they were able to go out there and communicate that to all the stakeholders. And this is Lindenmood again, just executing their plan. So most of these closures, right, were given like, you know, probably less than 72 hours. I mean, in every single one of these closures, we've been able to deliver ahead of schedule. So the airport's been really happy with us, you know, sticking to our commitments. Obviously, you can imagine the impact that these have to the traveling public. Every single one of these has even more detailed detour plan that gets coordinated with the owner rep, and definitely causes an impact, but it definitely is as least intrusive as possible for the traveling public trying to get to their destination. Here's some pictures of the work of what it looked like to get us to complete Terminal A. This terminal was opened in 2 phases. The owner wanted us to open the roadway in an interim condition before the Christmas holiday. We were able to accommodate that. We got as much of it done as we could, opened it for the holiday, then reclosed it back for a few weeks to finish the rest of the work we had left. And now this terminal's fully complete and open to the public. There's a video of what it looks like now. The canopy here, you see here, that was one of the first things we took down on the project. We took it down, stored it, and then our subcontractor ETS, which is the first one that was the person who installed it the first time, just finished installing all the fabric for that canopy there, and that's now complete. Terminal CD. So again, all these footprints are very similar. You saw from Harish's presentation of the layout of the airport, it's pretty much the same across the board. What you see here is the movement to get to Terminal C going southbound as this U-turn. So where Terminal B required the U-turn on the north side to get to Terminal B, if you're going south and you want to get to Terminal C, you're going to take this U-turn alignment into the terminal. So that is what's currently under construction, and that incentive date that the airport put out there for us to finish before June 5th of this year requires us to finish this entire roadway alignment. Now, this is all built up to about right here. We've got this U-turn section right now that's currently being worked on, and then the off-ramp, part of the off-ramp is actually getting poured today right now. The bridge deck is everything you see here in purple is pretty much complete. And we did start the terminal tie-in here for Terminal C just last week. I believe there's a video here. Oh, nope. Actually, before I get to that, let's talk about another design optimization. So this one I'm going to give Scott Yates some credit here. Cost me a couple handles of whiskey, but it was very, very much well worth it. So WSP design here in the red was a cut wall section that asked us to install the alignment for the U-turn to essentially cut down about, I don't know, I think it was like 15 feet of fill for the wall to top of pavement. The problem there was we had a water line, a gas line, and this encore line that fed the FAA. There was really no redundancy in place for us to be able to relocate it. So we came up with a solution here, primarily Scott, where he raised the profile, met all the criteria, essentially changed the condition from a cut condition to a fill condition. And that right there, you see there is actually all of that is now complete. Here's some of the pictures of the work. This terminal was actually a little bit unique because of the way that the final design, we didn't have the real estate available in the infield of this terminal, there's a big hotel there, the Hyatt Hotel there. So we had to build this in phases. We started here with the recirculation bridge. We got that done. It was probably like 52 days, 54 days where we pretty much took it down, rebuilt it, opened it. And we just started the actual main component, which is the terminal tie-in here. I think you'll see a video here shortly that shows what it looks like now. Yeah, there you go. So that is a video of what it currently looks like now. All these caps here, this caps are already poured. We have beams coming in on Thursday. So on Friday, February 27th, there was a bridge there. And now today, you've got all the substructure done, and Thursday you'll have beams there. And probably by Monday, it's gonna be fully decked out for us ready to pour the following week. Terminal D, right? There was no terminal tie-in, right-hand exit terminal to Terminal D, right? That terminal was redesigned. I think it was in 2002 when there was a reconstruction for what's called like the paperclip bridges and all the roadway system there. But we definitely had to build in and around it. And probably one of the more complicated things we had to do is build this bridge under the paperclip. You see this picture here. We had all these big plans 3D modeled and designed by our engineering team. And if I recall correctly, when we actually set the beam that went underneath the bridge, like the head clearance from the top of the boom to the bottom of that deck was, I think, like within 3 inches. That's how tight it was for us to be able to build that. So to the point that Veronica made, a lot of this project's been built in tight footprints, and our team's done a really good job in delivering that, again, without anyone getting hurt. And to end the presentation, from a technology standpoint, one thing that our project's done is we've implemented this 4D scheduling for the project. A company called Kinkle Consulting out of Florida has been doing this for us, and we provide this to DFW. Sometimes, it helps them to visualize the sequence of work. And with this 4D scheduling technology, essentially it just shows you the 3D construction with the dates aligned here at the bottom. And I believe that's all I got. So appreciate it.
And this project is applied to all of our DFW residents. And for the upcoming World Cup, it's gonna be like one of the most busiest airport. And I really like the clip where it showed like the 90 days timeline and the way that it's being like built fast and efficient. It's really recommendable. So let's move on to questions. If anybody has any questions to the speaker.
How did it handle the parts you built already? How did it handle the icing of that?
So part of our contract is to provide maintenance during construction. So we had a team of about 16 individuals that were on site de-icing ahead of the snowstorm. So we didn't really have any issues. I think we had people on the ground 24 hours a day during the storm event. But we essentially partnered with the ETAMS group to ensure that all the roadways were safe for the traveling public.
First off, great presentation. Question is, any lessons learned for the new terminal at work that's ongoing?
Are you my competition, so I don't answer that? If you are, I'm not gonna answer that. Yeah, there's a lot of lessons learned. Watch what I say here. There's probably some people in here that don't.
I can answer that. So in this case, we have DFW, have planning teams, have ETAM teams. Everybody makes complement each other. So if we have lessons learned, of course, all these departments are involved and they apply whatever we have from prior projects into the next ones. And I would say a lot of the integration, collaboration, the way that we plan our work is going to be taken into account for future projects.
Yeah, one thing I will say, I think right now we're like an environment where like the design build lump sum contracts are a scary thing for contractors to sign up for. Um, I think here locally, you got two projects that aren't too far from where we're at right now that aren't doing very well. Us in the construction industry, we kind of keep tabs with one another. And this project being the same delivery model, I think that you can speak to the fact that the owner has been a open partner. These projects only are a success when everybody has a same shared goal. And I think that's been evident from day one when we signed up with the airport that they wanted us to be successful. We want to deliver a quality product for them. We're pretty happy the way this thing's turned out for all parties.
Feel a lot of tight tolerances and then scary construction like you talked about, the work that's left, what's one thing that's the most challenging that still keeps you up at night?
I don't know if there was a picture. Let me see if I can go back and show you. If we provided a picture of the area that yeah, unfortunately, we didn't provide one. This right here is probably the closest thing, that area right there, we call it the Tracon U-turn. It's right in front of the FAA building. That's probably the tightest area within the project footprint that we have to build. That's where the critical path of the schedule is right now. There was a lot of work that was done on the front end from a design perspective to essentially even get us a solution that worked. The owner had to make some concessions when it came to the design criteria to be able to come up with a solution. But I still am not 100% comfortable that we're going to be able to get all that done by June 5th. We're going to give it our best shot. But when you talk about losing sleep, obviously I don't want to disappoint the airport with their expectation that we're going to be done on June 5th, especially given our track record that the other two terminals have been delivered ahead of schedule. But I do lose a little bit of sleep, get a little anxiety when I go out there and I don't see people working. So, but yeah, that would be it right there if I had to say what it is.
Yes, please.
Great presentation, everyone. Just a question about the coordination. Obviously, the operations is, you're trying to keep one of the busiest airports operating. What is the kind of daily, weekly collaboration look like between contractor, owner, design?
Yeah. So, for those that work at the airport, there's like a road stop process where you're supposed to go in there and talk about traffic impacts. What happened really quickly, the PMCM team identified the need for us to kind of have a private one-on-one meeting with all the stakeholders, all the key stakeholders, fire, police, American Airlines. Them seeing that and recognizing that early on and creating an environment where we truly can collaborate, share information, I think that's key. I think anytime you can dedicate some time to be able to identify potential issues and conflicts and how it's going to impact the traveling public, and then reach a solution that everybody finds amenable, it just makes for a win-win situation. So I think that's one thing from an owner perspective is just finding the stakeholders and finding an opportunity to be able to get everybody in a room to collaborate, people that can actually make decisions.
And I would like to team itself, like we have the designers co-located into EO's office and the PMCM team, our construction manager. Everybody is very quick. If there is any issue, we can immediately address it. So it's not wait time.
Thank you. Okay, so if anyone has last question, yep.
Firstly, great presentation. I just want to ask that with all this construction going on and all this terminal building, what are the measures that airport is taking for confused travelers like me who tends to miss their exit, are not usually on a non-time basis with the flights?
So, I think there's been an effort to get these detours, the new roadway alignments inputted into Google Maps, into a lot of those GPS tracking softwares. I think the airport's been communicating directly, trying to get that updated as quickly as possible. We provide as much roadway signage as possible. We try to make the detours as seamless as possible. But I think at the end of the day, you just got to expect that there's going to be some delay. And you just get there a little bit earlier than you normally would. Drive slow, try to pay attention to the signs. The signs will get you where you need to go.
Passenger here, just go to, get into the airport, then the people who assist them can get you to the right terminal.
Thank you. I would like to move on to our online attendees. If you have any questions. Okay, so I guess we don't have any questions from our online attendees. We would like to thank our speakers for giving their insights and for their valuable time for this presentation. We learned a lot about this project and we really look forward for the airport to be completed and, for it being on the prepared for a World Cup 2026, and we are really looking forward to it. So let's give them a round of applause.